This is the first in a series of videos intended to review our topics on inequalities. Let's begin with the basic, graphing inequalities. In the first example here, first thing we're going to look for is to see whether or not our variable is already isolated. In this case, it is. Now we take a look to see if the variable is on the left side of our inequality. This is done to make our graphing easier. Once we know that we have that taken care of, we can go ahead and look at our inequality symbol. The inequality symbol is going to tell us a lot about the way that our inequality is graphed on the number line. First, it'll tell us whether or not we will have an open circle or a closed circle. Remember that an open circle is a circle that does not get colored in, and a closed circle is a circle that does get colored in. We use the closed circle when our variable can in fact equal the solution. It will also tell us which direction we are going to shade or color in the number line. For this particular example, we realize that we need an open circle because x cannot equal -2. It must be greater than -2. We can also see that because x must be greater than -2 on the number line, we are going to go to the right. Let's go ahead and label our number line. As we said before, we are putting an open circle, and we are shading to the right. And this is the completed graph of our inequality. Let's move to the second example. Once again, check to see if your variable is isolated. In this case, it is. We have no coefficient. We have no constant. Now check to make sure your variable is on the left side of your inequality, which in this case it is. So now we can observe the actual inequality symbol. In this case, we have a less than symbol. Because x must be less than 3, we know we have an open circle again. We also know that on the number line, all of the values less than 3 will be on the left side of 3. So we are going to shade or color to the left. So open circle on 3 and color to the left. And that is our inequality. Let's move on to our third example. For this situation, we follow the same procedure, but we can already see the variable is isolated and on the left. Our inequality symbol in this situation is a less than or equal to symbol. Because x now has the opportunity to equal -7, our circle will be closed. Which, remember, means that we can fill it in. We are still dealing with a less than symbol, therefore we are shading to the left. We set up our number line. Our closed circle on the -7, and we shade to the left. Remember when you're shading to color in your arrow heads as well. Let's move on to example 4. Once again, variable is isolated and on the left side, so we can look at our inequality symbol, which is a greater than or equal to symbol. That means our circle is closed, and we shade to the right. Because all of the values that are greater than 9 are on the right of 9. And of course, once again, color in an arrowhead. Examples 5 and 6 are a little bit different. In these situations, we do not have the variable on the left side of our inequality. So in this case, we can actually read them backwards and rewrite them. Right now, it states that negative 5 is less than x. If I read it in reverse, it states x is greater than negative 5, which gives us all the information that we need. We know once again that this is an open circle and that we need to shade to the right, because we're dealing with a greater than symbol, meaning x cannot equal negative 5, it must be larger than negative 5. So we set up our number line once again. An open circle and shading to the right. We could do the same thing on number 6. We have 6 is greater than or equal to x. So we go ahead and read this in reverse. We now have x is less than or equal to 6. X can equal 6 here, so we know our circle is closed. And we also know that we're going to end up shading to the left because we're dealing with a less than symbol. So we close our circle and we shade left. This video will be followed up with a review on solving one-step equations, and from there we'll follow it up with a video on translating verbal sentences into inequality statements. Please make sure to check those out to be ready for tomorrow's quiz.